minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, X minus 1. Fire.
Lights out, everybody. The creaking door.
Dimension
Inner Sanctum Mystery.
X minus 1.
Dark fantasy.
Hello everyone, welcome to Sci-Fi and Horror, brought to you by Dwayne Old Time Radio. Sci-Fi and Horror features some of the best programs from the golden age of radio, including X-1, Orbiter X, Dimension X, it's a lot of X's, Lights Out, Ray Bradbury, Dark Fantasy, and many, many more. Before we start today's sci-fi and horror thriller, if you enjoy what I'm doing, let me ask you to subscribe to my channel. Subscribing is 100% free, and you will receive notifications on new posts. Lastly, if you have a moment, please write a short 1 or 2 sentence review or give a rating on your preferred podcast service. A positive review or rating would help me out a lot. And now, on to the show. And again, thank you for your support. Hope you enjoy. The Day of the Triffids. The Day of the Triffids is this month's new start of our BBC programming on sci-fi and horror. There are multiple productions of the Day of the Triffids. This is the first radio production from 1957. Later there was one from 1968, and much later there was one from 2001. There are 6 episodes. This week we're going to air the first 2 episodes. The first one is titled The End Begins. The second one is titled A Light in the Night. The first episode aired October 2nd, 1957.
The BBC presents The Day of the Triffids, a serial for broadcasting in 6 parts by Giles Cooper from the novel by John Wyndham. Episode 1, The End Begins.
Have you finished, Bill?
Nearly. 1 or 2 things to dry.
I'll give you a hand.
Cloth coming over.
What's this thing?
A very special retort. Be careful, it took a long time to make.
Chemical glassware always looks as though you can make coffee in it.
I dare say you could if there was such a thing as coffee these days.
How are you getting on?
Not bad. We need more coal.
You had a ton the other day.
Oh, I want a lot more than that.
Darling, what are you going to do with it?
Boil up seawater for salt. Then make metallic sodium, then sodium cyanide, I hope.
Surely there's an easier way of getting salt.
The nearest mine's in Worcestershire.
And the nearest coal mine?
In Kent.
And how do you get there from the Isle of Wight in these hard times?
There's a tank landing craft lying off Cowes. She's quite sound, and Michael thinks he can get the engines running. I'm going to suggest to the committee that we load her up with a bulldozer and half a dozen trucks, run along the coast of Dover, and see if we can't bash our way through.
You may not get much of a welcome from the miners.
We'll take some flour and cloth to trade with them.
If there are any.
There were last month. Ivan was over there in the helicopter. They're fairly well organized and quite friendly. We might start a regular trade. Far better than raiding household stocks in Portsmouth.
You know, it's surprising that. How little there is in people's coal cellars.
It was May.
When it happened? Oh, yes. It's May now.
6 years ago.
Oh, come in.
Oh, good, Bill. I've caught you. And Josella.
Hello, Elspeth. We were just knocking on.
Oh, no, you're not. I've got this thing working, and you're going to use it.
What is it?
A tape recorder.
Oh,
We've got it geared to the voltage of the generator at long last, and you're both going to talk to it.
Say what?
Everything. It's for the history.
Why me?
Because you were in on the disaster before it even happened. From the Triffid angle, at any rate.
Couldn't I just write it down?
No. 2 reasons. 1, you'll never do it, and 2, the girl who will transcribe it is blind, as you very well know, seeing she's one of your wives.
Sheila?
Yes. Now, come on.
Oh, surely there's no reason to start tonight.
I've got to take advantage of every minute the generator's on. Now, off you go.
Well, Lord, I don't know. It's difficult to think oneself back into the middle 50s. Well, half the things we've been talking about would mean nothing to someone living then.
Have a heart, Bill. We were living then.
Oh, you got to be more than 3.
Go on, Bill.
I was 9 when a man called Umberto Palanguez was shown into the office of the managing director of the Arctic and European Fish Oil Company. It wasn't the first time he had been there.
Ah, Mr. Palanguez, do sit down. I'm afraid I was in conference last time you came.
Yes.
We analyzed that sample of oil which you left for us.
Yes.
Very interesting.
I imagine that you might think so.
Vegetable oil, of course.
But with a far higher vitamin content than any of your fish oils.
Oh, yes. Yes, I agree. As a matter of fact, to be candid, we've never seen anything quite like it.
You will. It will be on the market in quantity in about 8 years from now.
Oh, yes?
Not if you can help it, is that what you're thinking?
I wouldn't put it quite as crudely as that.
No. But I am a crude fellow, so I'll say it for you. Also, I will tell you that you haven't got a hope of stopping it. The experimental station where this sample was produced is a long way off, both in geography and in ideology.
What is your nationality, Mr. Palanguez?
South American and quite irrelevant. I am a citizen of the world, not without friends.
I heard they were experimenting with sunflower seed oil, but it isn't that.
No, not sunflowers.
Some kind of nut?
No. I understand it is an entirely new species. Here is a picture of it.
Good Lord, what an incredible thing. It is a plant.
Oh, certainly.
It looks like a cross between a giraffe and a cairn terrier, covered in leaves.
It is a cross between a great many things, some of them not nice. But in a few years' time, it will be producing a far better oil than yours, at half your present price.
What are you offering, and how much do you want for it?
I offer you a tray of fertilized seeds 6 months from now, and I want 100,000 pounds.
Do you?
If you consider all the implications, you will find that I am being very reasonable.
I shall have to consult my fellow directors.
Naturally. I would like an advance of 25,000 pounds.
That's rather high.
Not really. You see, I shall have to buy myself a jet aircraft, and it had better be a good one.
But not good enough. He landed by night on a flat Siberian waste. A man ran up to the plane with a box under his arm and got in. Palanguez took off at once and climbed steeply. Somewhere high over the Pacific, they caught up with him and quite justifiably blew the plane to pieces. After the fragments had dropped away and the pursuers had followed them down to sea level, there was nothing left but a trail of white vapor. Only it wasn't vapor. It was a cloud of seeds, so gossamer-like that they even floated on that thin air until they drifted down into the winds of the world.
Good. Keep it going, Bill. How much of that is speculation?
Not much. A gentleman called Fedor turned up a couple of years later and said he'd helped to organize it, laid out landing lights and so on. He'd heard the planes in pursuit of Palanguez. Besides, there's no other way to account for the fact that Triffids suddenly appeared in 6 different parts of the world at once. We even had one in our back garden. I was 15 at the time.
Dad, do you know there's a mystery behind the compost heap?
Go on with you. Pull the other one.
No, really. It's a peculiar plant. Do come and look. Between the Burberrys and the fence. There.
My word, yes, Billy, you're right. It's very odd indeed.
I can't find it in any of the books. Not Flowers of the Field or anything.
It looks kind of foreign.
There's a sort of coiled thing, like a fern shoot in that trumpet-shaped thing at the top of the stem. Look. And a lot of
dead flies floating about inside.
It's no beauty, whatever it is. We'll dig it up next time we're having a bonfire.
Oh, no, Dad. Please not.
What do you want to do with it?
Oh, study it. You know, take its measurements and keep a record of its growth.
All right, then. But I wish you'd spend as much time on arithmetic as you do on nature study.
Oh, Dad, it's not nature study. I was standing beside it yesterday when the 4 little twigs at the base of the stem began to vibrate against it. They made a sort of pattering sound. This is new. I've applied for a job I saw in the paper. It's to be a trainee with the Arctic and European Oil Company Limited. I think it's palm oil and whales and groundnuts. It might be interesting, but I don't expect I shall get it.
Do sit down, Mr.
Masen. William Masen, sir.
Ah, yes. My name's Lucknor. I'm in charge of research. Now tell me something about yourself.
What sort of thing, sir?
Oh, what you like doing, why you want to join Arctic European. Just talk to me.
Well, sir, I'm interested in plants and animals and things that live.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like figures much, or sitting at a desk.
Now, what experience have you?
Biology at school. It was my best subject. And I've done some research on my own.
On what?
Well, there's a plant in our garden that nobody knows about, and I've kept a sort of record of it.
What does it look like?
It has a circular bowl covered with leaves, which at present is 210.5 centimeters in circumference. From it springs a stem which is 82 centimeters in circumference and 120 centimeters in height from the bowl. The whole plant standing 210 centimeters from the ground.
Yes, that's very thorough. Now tell me what it looks like.
Oh, like a kind of shaggy, leafy giraffe with no legs.
What?
And a leafy calyx where the head would be. I'm sorry, it's not a very good description.
Oh, yes, it is. Has it got 4 twiglets growing straight up from the base of the stem?
Yes.
And inside the calyx a coil thing which might be a stamen?
Yes, that's it.
Indeed it is. Get me the chairman, would you? How long has it been there?
6 months since I noticed it. Oh, but it was well established then.
Are you... Walter Lucknor, sir. I've a young man sitting in front of me who's been growing a triffid in his back garden. Yes, sir, I will. We're going up to see him. He'll be free in a moment.
Triffid? Is that what it's called?
Yes, and in 2 years' time it will be the reason for this company's existence.
But what does it do?
Produces an oil that wipes the floor with any of our present products. Some seeds were accidentally dispersed a year or 2 ago, and we've just had reports that specimens have been found in the tropics. I'm going out to Ecuador next week to bring some home. Yours is the first reported in a temperate country.
Oh, but why triffid? Surely that means 3-pronged.
Yours hasn't walked yet, I take it.
Walked?
Obviously not. But when it's between 18 months and 2 years old, it will lift its 3 main roots from the ground and walk on them. Hence, triffid.
But no plants walk, sir.
They do now. And by the way, you've got the job.
But I very nearly lost it. I went home hopping with excitement, and the first thing I did was to go into the garden and take a look at my triffid. I bent down and examined the roots. For the first time I noticed that there were indeed 3 of them. I began to scrape the earth away from them with a vague idea that the thing might walk sooner. I was conscious of a slight movement about me, and then something cracked across my face like a whip. I woke up in bed with a puzzled-looking doctor standing over me. I was the first person in England to be stung by a triffid.
Yes, and how did you survive it?
Simply because it wasn't fully grown. By the time I'd recovered, Walter was back from Ecuador with a dozen mature specimens, and he'd already discovered that the sting would kill a man instantly. He'd also discovered that if you cut the sting off, the triffid was harmless. Well, I went down to Worthing with him, and we set up the first triffid nursery together. You know what happened in the next few years. The wretched things were so successful as oil producers that we reared more and more of them until... Well, here we are today.
Yes, good. Now, can't you give me something more personal, Bill? I mean, you worked with them more than anyone.
Except Walter. He really understood Triffids.
Go on, Bill.
I remember once sitting on a bank looking at a field of tethered Triffids one evening, just about sunset. What a row they're making.
Yes. They're talkative tonight, aren't they?
I wonder if it's the weather. They seem to do it more when it's dry.
Do you talk more when it's dry?
Talk?
Yes, do you?
Well, you don't really think that's what they're doing?
Well, why not?
Well, it's absurd. Plants talking to each other.
You once said they couldn't walk.
Yes, but that's a mechanical thing. If they talked, it would mean they had some intelligence.
Haven't you ever noticed that when they sting, they seem to go for the face of the hands?
Yes.
And especially for the eyes.
Well, that's probably accidental.
Possibly. But it could be because they want to reduce our advantage. Sight is our only advantage, you know.
What, over those vegetables?
Yes. Now, you just think. If you were blind and alone in a field with a triffid, what could you do? For a start, you'd starve to death. But the triffid wouldn't. It could exist on flies until it found you. Then it would only have to root itself beside your body and wait.
Oh, that's a nice thought.
And here's another one. In some parts of Africa, they've been known to surround villages at night and kill the inhabitants.
But we've never found anything like a brain. They're the same as any other plant when you dissect them.
All the same, if there was some catastrophe which made us weaker, it would automatically make them stronger. Especially now we've stopped docking them to improve their quality.
Well, I don't see what catastrophe.
Probably none. But the scientists have been playing with some pretty odd things lately. Look at all these artificial satellites. Nobody knows what's in them or how many there are, or how controllable they may be.
But do you really think there's anything to worry about?
I don't know. Anyhow, it's no use worrying. While there's money in Triffids, there'll be Triffids. We'll tap this lot tomorrow. Have my mask and gloves ready, will you?
I've often wondered what happened to Walter. He'd have been useful to us now. It was a year afterwards that he saved my eyesight and my life. We were examining some specimens when one of them smacked out at me with its sting, and a few drops of poison came through the meshes of the mask and went into my eyes. He got me back to the lab at once and gave me the antidote, but I had to go into hospital for a week or two. They sent me to St. Mary's right in the middle of London. I'd been there 10 days when the night of the green flashes took place. You probably remember how reports came in over the air all day long from places which were already having their night, telling of a fantastic display of lights in the upper atmosphere, and by evening everyone who could get to a window or climb on a roof was gazing up, hoping for a free firework display. As soon as darkness fell, I could hear the ahs and oohs, not only from the hospital staff, but from the whole city outside. I began to feel that a gigantic party was being given to which only I had not been invited. Do shut the window, nurse.
Oh, but it's marvellous, Mr. Mason. Really it is. They say it's a comet, you know. Green and white flashes all over the sky.
And bright red buses clashing their gears all down the street, I know. Surely you can see just as well with it shut.
Aren't we just in a bad mood tonight? Oh, of course. It's a shame, really, you having your eyes still bandaged. Still, it's not for long now.
What time tomorrow will they do the unbandaging?
Sister said 11:30, but Mr. Palmer may be a bit late.
Oh, what's happened?
Oh, that was a bright one. It lit up the whole room. You can see everybody standing on the rooftops watching. Oh, there's another. It's quite dazzling. Oh, what a pity you couldn't see it.
Yes, isn't it? Now, do go away. There's a good girl.
Have you everything you want?
Yes, I think so. Is the radio there where it should be? Yes.
Then I'll leave you for
some
now.
Music.
I look in later to see you're settled down. Good night.
Good night.
Oh, and there's another thunders flash right across the whole sky. I expect you can hear the crowd. They're like children at a firework display. From where I'm standing on the top of Primrose Hill, I can see hundreds of faces all turned upwards to watch this astonishing spectacle which began over the Pacific 12 hours ago and by now must have been seen by 90% of the world's population. It's believed that the Earth is passing through a belt of meteoric debris caused by the passing of a comet, and I really do urge anyone who possibly can to watch it. The whole sky is pulsating with vivid streaks and flashes of light, and the whole of London, right across to the Surrey Hills, stands out brilliantly in the hard green glare. All the usual features of a London crowd are present, from the man with a sandwich board announcing the end of the world, to the man you can probably hear not far away from me. Yes, he's doing quite a good trade, too. Some of the brighter flashes really make you blink. Oh, there's a splendid one right across.
Oh, shut up and let me get some sleep. Eight. Oh, it must be so. It is 8. What a damn disorganized hospital. Where's that bell? Well, come on! Nurse! Sister! Hey, come here! Incompetent fools leaving me like this, supposing there was a fire. Nurse! Nurse! Who's that? Is someone there?
Whose room's this?
Mine. Aren't you the house surgeon?
Yes, Mr. Masen.
Well, can't you see?
No.
What?
I'm blind. I woke up blind. I've been trying to find someone to help me.
I'm afraid I'm in the same state unless you care to help me off with these bandages.
Where are you?
Here. That's the end of the bed. Now, look, work your way up. My hand. We must look a comic couple.
I'm not laughing.
I won't be if the treatment doesn't work. There's a pin at the back I can't quite manipulate. All that? Thanks. It's like unwinding a maypole.
Oh, you better do it yourself. Are the curtains drawn?
I suppose so. Nobody's coming to undraw them. The whole staff must have a hangover or something after last night. I can see.
Clearly?
Perfectly. The curtains are green. I always thought they were blue. I don't know why. Well, it's lucky my clothes are here. Oh, you don't know what it's like being able to see again.
I can imagine.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm sorry. How can I help you?
Take me along the passage to Lister Ward. There's a telephone in the sister's room.
Oh, this way. Hold my arm. All right?
Yes?
Place sounds like a madhouse.
There must be someone on duty somewhere.
Is the ward at the end of the passage?
There are swing doors. Sister's room is on the right before you get there.
Hey, you! Now, wait a moment. There's someone in the ward calling out. We'd better see what they want. It's all dark. Anything wrong?
There'll be water, no breakfast, no...
I pull the curtains back, mate.
All right. Wait here, Doctor. We can't leave them in the dark.
No, of course not.
There.
Oh, go on.
What?
Don't muck about, mate. Pull the curtains proper. We can't see a thing. Go on, pull them.
But I have.
He's blind too, like me. We're all blind. Quick, let's get out of here.
This looks like the room.
Give me the telephone.
On the table. There.
Dead. I thought it would be.
What's happened? What is it?
Everyone's blind. Finished.
There must be something we can do.
Yes. This is the 5th floor, isn't it?
Yes.
Where's the window?
You're facing it.
Thank you.
No. Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Where's anyone? Come on!
stairs! Who's there? Don't move if you're on the stairs and can't see.
He knocked me over. I couldn't see him coming. Is that Mr. Masen?
Yes, I took the bandages off. I can see. Are you hurt?
Bruised a bit, that's all. I was washing the diabetic in number 7. And I suddenly couldn't see. And he couldn't either. Then I went for help. But there's nobody.
All right. Don't worry. Let's get out of this place. Which is the best way?
Straight down these stairs and through the main hall. What about the man who fell?
I'm afraid he's dead.
Oh, no!
Hold on now. Now, there are 4 steps coming. 1, 2... here's a landing. Turn right. What's that?
The children's ward. Oh, we must go to them.
There's nothing we can do at the moment. Look, 4 more steps. Turn right. Here's the main hall. Across here. Stop now. Here's the door. Now forward.
No, I'd rather stay here. I don't want to go out.
This place is a nightmare.
What place isn't like this? Besides, I know my way around here. Blindfold.
There'll be no food, nothing.
I feel safer here. Besides, they're the children.
What can you do for them?
Make them a little less frightened. I am a nurse, after all.
You want me to stay?
No. You must go out and do what you can. Goodbye.
The street was empty and horribly silent. There seemed no particular reason to go in any direction, but after a moment's pause, I set off towards the West End, skirting a fruit lorry which had run across the pavement and deposited its load of oranges in the gutter. I badly wanted a drink. I crossed the road to a pub called the Alamein Arms. The door was open and a lugubrious song came from the interior.
Don't bury me at all. Yes.
Oh, that's gin. What's this one? Ports. So blazes with ports.
Hi.
Who's that?
Are you open?
Just broken the window, haven't I? Course I'm open.
I need a drink.
Who are you, anyway?
From the hospital.
Can you see?
Yes.
Is this whiskey I've got here?
No, peppermint.
So blazes with peppermint. Find me a bottle of whiskey, Doc.
Okay. I'm doctor enough for that, anyhow. This one's whiskey.
Thanks. Help yourself.
I'll have a brandy, if I may.
Anything you like.
You get drunk if you take it down like that.
I am drunk. And I've got to get drunker. You know what? I'm blind. That's what I am. I'm blind as a bat. Everybody's blind as a bat except you. It's that ruddy comet. Green shooting stars. Now everyone's blind. Do you see green shooting stars?
No.
They are, Rosie. You didn't see them. You are blind. Everyone else saw them. All blind as bats.
Are you sure it's everyone?
Listen. You can't hear yourself talk here most days, not with the door open.
I see what you mean.
It's obvious, really.
Are you the landlord?
What if I am?
I want to pay.
Forget it. You know why? 'Cause money's no use to a dead man. That's what I am after a few more drinks.
You look all right.
What's the good of living blind as a bat? That's what my wife said. She was right.
And she's more guts than what I have. When she found out the kids were blind too, she took them into her bed with her and turned on the gas.
Oh, my.
That's what she did. I hadn't the guts to stick with them. But I will have soon. I'm going back up there soon when I'm drunk enough.
No.
Why not? Give me one reason why not. You can't.
It's wrong.
No. Nothing's left to be wrong. If you can't see that, you're blinder than me. Drunk enough to do it now. Here I come, girls. Here I come.
I didn't stop him or try to follow him. I watched him go. Then I knocked back the last of my brandy and went out into the silent street.
That was episode 1 of The Day of the Triffids, a serial for broadcasting in 6 episodes by Giles Cooper from the novel by John Wyndham, with Patrick Barr as Bill Masen. Production for the BBC is by Peter Watts. The BBC presents The Day of the Triffids.
There's another tremendous flash. It's believed that the Earth is passing through the debris of a comet. There's another, so brilliant it almost hurts. I really do urge anyone who possibly can to go out and watch.
Episode 2, A Light in the Night.
It took me quite a time to realize that London was a city of the blind, the capital of a blind country and a blind world. But by the time I'd walked from the hospital to Piccadilly, I knew it was so. In no direction was there any traffic, nor any sound of it. The only signs of life were a few people here and there cautiously groping their ways along the shop fronts. Outside a famous provision shop, I came upon a group of people gathered round a small child, which still seemed to have its sight.
What's in this window? Mummy. Come on, what's in the window?
Oh, he's only 3. He doesn't understand, do you, dear?
He's all the eyes we've got. Come on, kid. Tell us what's in the window.
Give you a sweet, eh?
Mummy. Tell us, darling, what's in the window? Is it numbed?
Tell us what you see. Tell us. Tell us, you brat, or I'll wring your neck.
Stop. Who's that? Well, don't bully the child.
We've got to find food.
Well, there's none in that window. It's full of china.
He can see.
That's right.
That's right. You can see, can't you?
Show us a window with some grub in it.
All right. This way.
Oh, we're starving.
This one. The one you're facing now. There's a ham in it.
Okay. Here goes.
Oh, mind you don't cut yourself.
Where's the bloke that can see? He can put his hand in.
Where is he?
Here, beside me.
Well, hold on to him. I've got him. Is it you? You can see, can't you?
I know it's him.
All right, then. Put your hand through the window and get us some food.
Let me go, then.
Oh, no, you're staying with us.
That's what you think.
Stop him!
Someone's there. I can hear you. All right, don't answer. Just stay where you are and don't bump into me. I've had enough of that this morning.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're blind.
Of course I'm blind. You think I carry a white stick for fun?
Then you don't know what's happened.
I know everyone's jolly clumsy this morning. And no hall porter on duty.
They're all blind, too, since they watched the comet last night.
Oh.
It was pure chance I didn't.
Now they'll know what it's been like for me since 1917. Now they'll need their infernal patronage for themselves. I'm at the Regent Street end of Swallow Street, am I not?
Yes.
What does it all look like?
There aren't very many people about, no traffic. Just a couple of buses abandoned in the circus. Most of the people are creeping along against the walls.
You might see me across the road.
Of course.
Not that there's any traffic, but one gets lost away from the curb. What's that?
It sounds as though some of them have broken into a pub round the corner.
The fools. It's most unpleasant being drunk when you're blind. You'll do all right for free drink, though, won't you?
I keep away from groups. Once they find you can see, they won't let you go.
If you're worrying about that with me, you needn't. I'm very well able to look after myself.
Yes, I'm sure. Here's the curb.
Thank you very much. Good luck to you. Good day.
No, I won't.
What's your tongue, my dog? And don't you forget it.
Where I go, you go.
Stop, let her go. You get away, you.
Oh,
no, you don't.
All right. Up you get.
I'm tied to him.
Not now. I've cut the cord. There's an empty pub over there. Let's get away from the crowd.
But you can see.
Certainly I can.
Oh, thank heavens. I thought I was the only one. Oh.
Feeling better?
Yes. I must look an awful sight. Where's a mirror? Oh, my goodness, yes, I do.
Will you have another drink?
A small one. Then I must go.
Where?
Home. I was going for the doctor and... I'm sorry. I haven't told you anything about myself.
My name's Bill Masen, by the way.
I'm Josella Playton.
Oh, haven't I heard of you?
I shouldn't think so. How did you escape seeing the comet?
I was in hospital with my eyes bandaged. What about you?
Rather disgraceful, really. I went to a party on... What's today? Wednesday? On Monday night. And goodness knows what they'd put in the drinks. Because I felt like death yesterday. About 4:00, I gave up the struggle, took a couple of sleeping tablets and went to bed. If the sky had fallen in, I wouldn't have noticed. When I did wake, my father was standing beside the bed. He'd gone blind. So had the servants.
Where do you live?
Dean Road, St. John's Wood. The telephone wouldn't work, so I got out the car and drove down this way to fetch our doctor. I was in such a panic I forgot she was nearly dry of petrol, and she stopped in the middle of Regent Street. And then that man found out I could see. He knocked me down and tied my hands, then made me lead him about.
From bar to bar, I imagine.
Yes. I should have been able to get away from him, but he... Well, I was sorry for him in a way.
One's sorry for them all, but they're dangerous. In a way, we're rich and they're poor. Why did he start beating you?
Because I wouldn't go into his house with him. Thank heaven you came along.
And what do we do now?
I must go back to Father. There's no point in trying to find the doctor, even if he's been one of the lucky ones.
Would you mind if I came too?
I'd have asked you to, only I thought perhaps you had someone to look for.
No, my parents are dead and I've no other attachments.
Then I'd be very glad. It's the awful loneliness.
I know. And I think it'd be wiser for us to stay together anyhow. Shall we go?
Yes. Where can I get petrol?
No need.
What?
There are plenty of other cars.
Oh, it's funny. Like a dream, being able to take anything we want.
Seeing the sort of dream it is, I think we might break into that shop over the road.
What for?
A couple of good, sharp knives.
Oh.
No good. The driver of that bus must have gone blind at the wheel. We'll never get round it.
If you turn, there's a side street about 50 yards back. That'll lead us round into Dean Road.
What on earth is that?
The zoo. We hear the lions at night.
They'll be hungry. It's past feeding time.
I suppose they'll starve. Poor brutes, being locked up like that.
It's just as well for us that they are.
Are they blind, do you think?
I don't know. Some, perhaps. Not the cats, though. They'd have avoided the light.
Look, over in the park there. Triffids.
There's an enclosure of them by the zoo.
Should they be loose like that?
No, but if you don't keep an eye on them, they do tend to root themselves in a cluster against the fencing until it falls down.
Horrid things.
Still, if it wasn't for a triffid sting, I wouldn't be here now.
Here, on the left. Lucky I've still got my key. It's no use ringing the bell. It's in the hall. And he's there, too.
Your father?
Yes, I just saw him lying on the ground with a triffid standing over him. Oh, what can we do?
Nothing. I'm afraid there's nothing.
I mean, he's dead.
Wait. I'll just edge it open.
Oh.
Yes, I saw the mark on his face. Josella, it's a very quick death. Look out! Coming through those bushes! Run for the car! Wind up the window.
Drive on! Drive on before it gets to us!
No, wait, it can't hurt us now. I want to see what it'll do.
It's coming right up to us.
We're safe in the car.
Oh, that beastly rattling.
It's going away now. There's another one standing there in the laurels.
Oh, let's get away. You were right. There's nothing we can do.
You're sure?
Yes. Where can we go?
For a start, we make for a factory in Clerkenwell. There, we're in.
What is this place?
Wentworth's. They make the best triffid guns in the world. Here's the export stock all ready for packing. One for you, one for me, and one spare.
I didn't know there were such things.
They use them a good bit in the tropics. Look, this is how they work. Pull back the spring, so, and the bolt fits into this notch.
Mm-hmm.
Then shove one of these steel slivers. Look out, they're sharp. Shove it into the holder. Take aim and press the trigger. It'll cut the stem off a triffid at 25 yards.
I can't wait to use it.
We won't see many as long as we stay in the centre of London. Now then, we'll have those two masks.
Yes?
And the gauntlets.
All right.
A couple of cases of ammunition.
You'll never get them in the car.
There's a station wagon outside. We'll take that.
Where next?
Back up west. Clothes first. Then somewhere to sleep before it gets dark. A flat, I should think, or two flats if you'd prefer it.
One flat, please. I'd rather not be on my own.
Good. I feel like company, too. Let's try this block.
It looks pretty luxurious.
There's nothing to pay.
But can we really walk into somebody's flat and take it over?
People who can't or won't do that sort of thing are going to have a pretty thin time from now on.
Let's choose a top floor if we can.
It's a long way to carry the suitcases.
But what about the lift?
No power.
Oh, of course. All the same, I'd still prefer to be high up and away from the street.
All right. Let's make for the penthouse.
What about the triffid guns?
Leave them. Nobody's going to steal them. If they do, we'll get some more.
Some things are simple.
Such as climbing 5 floors with everything, including the kitchen stove.
What?
I took a paraffin cooker from the camping department. We'll need it. Come on. Up we go.
What a climb.
I should think it's the first time this floor's been reached on foot. 2 flats. Which do you prefer?
The south-facing one.
As Madame wishes. Well, let's hope this is a master key I found. The doors look solid. Yes, it is. After you. No. Let's try the other.
What's wrong with it?
It's not well furnished.
No, what was it?
Nothing much. Here we are.
Was someone in there?
Yes, 2 people, both dead.
Suicide?
Yes. There's a lot of it about. Come on.
Oh, no. We can't sleep here with them across the passage. And you're making a joke of it.
Listen, Josella, if we're going to keep our sanity, you and I have got to grow a hide, and a thick one, too. People are dying all over the world, some by their own hand, some by accident. Soon a lot more people will die of starvation.
Oh.
And there's nothing we can do about it, nothing at all. Do you understand?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry.
Well, let's see what this place has to offer. My goodness.
Done up regardless. And the cocktail bar. What sort of rent do they pay?
About $2,000 a year.
Good Lord. Is this a bedroom? I say, look. It's got a round bed.
With a mirror over it.
Madly glamorous.
Especially when you wake up with a hangover in the morning.
Oh, don't be discouraging. I'm going to sleep there anyway.
I'll see if I can find something a bit more sober.
There's a mirror over the bath as well.
That is the end.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyhow, you won't be able to use it. No hot water.
Oh, don't sound so pleased. Are you going to change?
Only my shirt.
It's lucky it's summer.
What?
Lucky it's summer. Cold weather wouldn't have helped.
In some ways it would.
How?
Most of the fresh food will be going off tomorrow. The fridge is like an oven.
Are you in the kitchen?
Yeah.
What's it like?
A housewife's dream. I'm setting up the oil cooker.
The housewife's nightmare.
Can you cook?
Boiled eggs, standard. There's a lipstick here I've always wanted to use and never dared to ask for. Bill? Bill?
Yes?
Sorry. I thought perhaps you'd gone out. You didn't answer.
I couldn't think of anything to say.
What you doing?
Preparing a simple meal.
Oh. Well, I ought to be doing that.
No, I'm enjoying myself. Shall we sit at a table?
Oh, yes. Let's do things properly.
That's how I feel.
What are we having?
Avocado pear, fried scampi, cold chicken and salad with asparagus tips, peaches and coffee.
What? No caviar?
That's in a pot. It'll keep.
Oh.
Will a white burgundy suit you, or would you prefer champagne?
I'm in your hands.
Very well, then. There's a good-looking batter on mon tracé here. I'll lay the table.
Bill!
I was busy.
Sorry.
What are you doing, anyway? Putting on the lot?
Yes.
I can't wait. Blimey.
How does it look?
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Where did the dress come from?
I found it in there and tried it. It fits.
It does. Emeralds suit you.
I've always wanted some.
Funny time to get them.
I know.
You're saying goodbye, aren't you?
So you do understand. I hoped you would.
I'm glad you've done it, anyway. My father told me once that just before 1939, when everyone knew there was going to be a war, he used to go around London looking at everything as though it was for the last time. Now it really is.
Thank you for understanding. Thank you for everything, in fact. If you hadn't helped me when you did, I don't know where I should be by now.
I know where I'd be now if I hadn't met you, lying drunk and maudlin in some bar. Oh. Talking of that, shall we have a drink? I can recommend the sherry.
Thank you.
Here's to you.
And you. My goodness, I'm hungry.
So am I. Napkin?
Thank you.
It's getting dark. What should we do for a light?
Oh, there are candles among our loot. No, wait a minute. Yeah. What do you think these are?
Small models of the Venus de Milo.
And also a rather decadent type of candle. Matches?
Oh, good heavens, what will they think of me?
What, indeed?
Sorry, stupid remark. But I'd have sat around in darkness without realizing there were candles at all.
Shows what a misspent life I've led.
Tell me about it.
Tell you what?
Everything. Childhood memories, love affairs, why you aren't married, or are you?
No, I'm not. Are you?
No.
I nearly was when I was 19. There was a fearful row.
With your family?
With my father. Mother was dead by then. I ran away from home and went to live with a girlfriend. He cut off my allowance, so I had to do something, and I wrote the book.
You did what?
That's what they all say. I must look awfully dumb. I wrote the book.
What book?
It was called Sex is My Adventure.
Josella Playton, of course. Did you write that thing?
Yes. Did you read it?
No.
It was very mild. Rather silly, really. Only the title was shocking. But it sold like anything, and the film rights. Made a lot of money. That's why I went home again.
Having shown your independence.
And to get away from the people who thought I meant the whole thing literally.
Which you did not.
Which I did not.
Still, you can hardly blame people.
No. That's why I was writing another book, to balance things up.
With an equally alarming title?
I was calling it Here the Forsaken.
Quotation?
Congreve. Here the forsaken virgin rests from love.
Oh. Ready for the next course? Now then. Brandy, port, or a liqueur?
Brandy, please. Oh, I suppose we ought to wash up.
No, we won't be here long and nobody else will be using the place.
That brings us back to earth with a bump.
I know, but I think we ought to rough out a plan of campaign.
Oh, let's have a few moments more. There ought to be soft music. Is that a gramophone?
An electric one.
Oh, pity.
There's a battery-operated wireless in the kitchen. I tried it earlier, but there was nothing doing.
Oh, let's have another try.
I don't know what you expect to hear, but it won't be soft music. I'll tell you then.
You never know. Somebody, somewhere, might have something to say. Oh, don't knock my brandy over. It's too good to waste.
Nothing. Nothing.
Wait a minute. I can hear something.
I can't.
Yes. There. It's Morse. Terribly faint.
I got it. It's SOS.
Oh. Where is he, do you think?
I don't know. Some ship drifting off the coast with all the crew blind. Josella, think of the ships.
And the prisons. What's happened in them?
Aircraft, too.
Their troubles must be over. Not like ours.
Which brings us back to where we started.
All right. I'm down out of the clouds now. What are we going to do?
Get out of London for a start.
What?
And keep away from towns as much as we can.
Supplies will be difficult in the country.
Yes, but don't you see what's going to happen here? There's still water in the tanks. Soon there won't be any, and the whole city will begin to stink like a great sewer. There are some bodies lying about already, and every day there'll be more.
You don't have to tell me that.
Sorry, but you see, it means that soon diseases will begin to spread. Cholera, typhus, Lord knows what. It's important to get away before anything of that kind starts. Have you any ideas where we might go?
Somewhere out of the way, I suppose. We'll want a good water supply, and as high up as we can get, so that there's a nice, clean wind.
That's a thought. The Lake District.
Too far.
Maybe. The same goes for Cornwall. We'll be dependent on towns when we can use them again.
What about the South Downs? I've some friends who have a lovely old farmhouse on the north side, looking across to Pulborough. It's fairly high, and there's a wind pump for water. They make their own electricity, too.
It's a bit near civilization.
How long ought we to leave the towns to themselves?
Ooh, a year or so. That ought to be long enough.
We're going to need a stack of supplies.
Yes, well, I suggest that the first thing we do tomorrow is to load up a lorry with stores, or 2 lorries if you can manage one.
I can try. What do we put in them?
Pencil and paper. Let's make a list.
It's like Robinson Crusoe.
We'll go for a couple of 10-tonners and load half each with food. Tinned meat and flour as basic, and as many luxuries as we can fit into the cracks between.
What do you call luxuries?
Anything that's not absolutely necessary but will give us variety. Sardines, tinned fruit and vegetables, biscuits, all that sort of thing.
Condensed milk?
Yes, or dried. We'll find some large grocers that haven't been broken into and make our final selection on the spot.
What else?
We'll need winter things.
Blankets.
Note them down. We'd better take a couple of camp beds, too, and a tent in case of emergencies.
A tent? Cooking things?
Yes, frying pans, saucepans, kettles. Ooh. About 3 of everything.
What about paraffin?
Or use the stocks in the roadside garages. Matches? Thousands of them. We don't want to have to rub sticks together before we need.
Candles and lamps.
Yes, torches and batteries.
What about first aid kits?
Yes, and any medicines that strike us as possibly useful.
Brandy.
Yes, a couple of cases. And a supply of mineral water for emergencies on the way.
We've got the triffid guns.
A couple of shotguns. About 5,000 rounds of ammunition. A rifle. A couple of revolvers.
Fishing rods might be handy if we're living off the land.
Nets and explosives will be handier. We'd better have a last and some cobbler's equipment, as well as all the shoes we can carry.
A sewing machine.
Barber's clippers.
Who's going to use them?
You. On me every fortnight.
Oh? And what about me?
Well, you'll just have to evolve a hairstyle I can cope with.
We are going to have to learn a lot.
We've learnt a lot already.
Such as?
How to accept the fact that sooner or later we may be the only survivors.
There must be others like us somewhere.
I've met nobody in London, except a child. It was too young to talk, too young to stay up and watch the comet, or whatever it was.
Well, what else could it have been?
You know every great power has had satellites whirling round overhead for the last few years. You also know that they aren't all for research. Some of them are weapons, ready to be brought down when needed. Supposing one of them went wrong, collided with a meteorite, perhaps, and instead of doing what it was supposed to do, which was to burst low down, affecting one country, it burst up in its orbit, affecting the whole world.
But who would think up a weapon that would make people blind?
Any nation on Earth that was rich enough or frightened enough. And that means all of us.
Oh.
Now, let's get on with the list.
Oh, no. Let's do it in the morning.
All right.
Ooh.
We've all the time in the world, in one sense. Nobody else seems to want it.
It was a good dinner. Thank you.
Thank you for adorning it.
Some things were fun.
Stay there a moment.
Why?
You're a sight that I shall never see again. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Yes?
Oh, Bill, do you hear them? All those poor people.
Josella, darling, don't.
I tried to go to sleep. I was tired, and then I began to hear them.
Calm now, darling, calm. There's nothing we can do, not yet.
Oh, Bill. Oh, Bill, if you weren't here, I'd go mad.
As long as we're together, we'll survive.
But there's so many of them, and only 2 of us.
Look.
No, I won't look out.
You must, Josella, there's a light.
The house is on fire, I've seen.
No, this is different. A searchlight.
What?
Look, over there to the north.
Oh, yes, I see.
It's a signal.
What does it mean?
That someone is trying to get all the sighted people together.
Quick, let's go there.
Not yet. No, we'll wait till morning.
But then there'll be no light. We must go now.
Do you really want to drive through those streets now?
No. But if we miss...
They won't go away tonight. We'll make a mark on the window ledge. Where's something? Oh, here we are, a nail file. That'll do. If I scratch a pointer... There. We'll be able to pick out the building in the morning. You can see it's a tall one from the position of the light. All right?
Yes. Oh, dear, I panicked a bit.
You'd be inhuman not to. But now we know that we're not alone.
We never were, Bill, were we?
That was episode 2 of The Day of the Triffids, a serial for broadcasting in 6 parts by Giles Cooper from the novel by John Wyndham, with Patrick Barr as Bill Masen and Monica Gray as Josella Playton. Production for the BBC by Peter Watts.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoy what I'm doing, I ask you to please subscribe to my channel or channels. Well, hope you enjoyed, and until next time, stay safe, wish you well, peace.